Hello everyone, it's Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. It's a new week of tennis betting. I'm delighted to say joining me as per usual is ATP Tour Senior Handicap Senior Handicapper for At Because We Win. It is Sean Calvert. Good afternoon to you, Sean. How are you, mate?
Well, the usual. You know, I don't like to complain, but yeah, still here with the 6-month cough or whatever it is. It's normally all right by lunchtime, but mornings are pretty dreadful. But people have heard enough about my health.
Well, it's the most commonly. It's actually going. It's viral.
It certainly is viral.
It's Sean Calvert's cough. It's beautiful sunshine though. Surely getting out there, the sun must be able to sort you out that cough.
Not really. I've been in the sun quite a bit. I've got a decent bit of colour on me and whatnot. But I was out this morning early, 9:00, 9:15, watching Legan's football. 9-a-side, friendly. First time he's ever played 9-a-side. It was interesting, let's say that.
Friendly by name, friendly by nature?
Well, one of the linesmen got in a bit of a tizzy over something, some perceived criticism of his lining technique. But, they lost 3-0. It was the first time they've ever played 9-a-side. It was quite funny, actually, because they've got no idea what they're doing. They're playing 3 at the back, sort of 2 holding midfielders, a couple of wingers and a striker, and Legan's never played 9-a-side before, so I had to tell him what he was supposed to do, but he doesn't listen, so he was offside about 300 times. It was, it was interesting. Let's put it that way.
And yesterday he was playing the kid. You were training for the match as well. Big training session.
There was a kids' party. Every kids' party. All the Legan's friends, pretty much all of them have their parties at Goals, this football place.
Oh, yeah.
Football parties.
I remember many parties at Goals. There's many parties.
All the time it's Goals. So, and then in the last 15 minutes, they make the parents come on and play the kids. I mean, the kids are not taking any prisoners, let me tell you. Last time I came up with a slightly injured Achilles, one of the kids went in double-footed on me.
Oh,
they just try.
Give him one of them.
I gave him a reducer afterwards, but he was fine.
Give him one of them.
But they all try and kick the hell out of you because they think it's funny, because you're their dad or when they know you all this sort of stuff. But I'm not having it.
So you went easy. You went easy for the last 50.
I put 6 goals past.
You put 6 goals past 9-year-olds.
I'm not having it. I'm not having this business where because they're so mouthy. They all come on like, you're 100 years old, you can't beat us. So I just come on there and pop a few in.
You just run around all crying, all depressed because you just side tackled them, put 6 goals in.
I didn't tackle any of them. Didn't need to. I was just putting them in the net. Yeah, I'm not the world's best player, but I'm like a sort of really poor.
Well, I fancy anyone's chances against a load of 9-year-olds, to be honest.
They're good. They're good and they're vicious. And there's hundreds of them. There's twice as many of them as there is of us. So
you just ran round them. What did the other dad say when you were doing just running around and pushing all the kids and scoring?
I wasn't pushing them. I was just using my experience to know where the ball's going to come and just slot it in the net. That's all I was doing. I was giving him a lesson.
A kid who's about 4'2" with glasses, and you're putting
he's a big kid,
smacking it,
telling you, they're kicking at you.
You're celebrating, giving on your knees.
No, I wasn't celebrating. No, I was just showing them how the game should be played. That's all. I'd say I'm 52. Oh. You know what I mean? These kids are 10. They shouldn't. They should be running all over the place. They shouldn't be worried about someone like me. Anyway,
so you beat him 6-0 on your hand, single-handed. 6 goals, ruined some kid's birthday party. Your son won't be invited next year because his dad ruined the party.
That's what you take. If you have the parents come on, they come on. That's it. They don't say, "Can you come on and just be a bit of a rollover, a pusher." They don't do that. So
yeah, but the idea is to just go around a couple of players and put one on a plate for the young kid so he can score, not you to score 6 goals.
No, but it's parents against kids, isn't it? So it's
anyway,
you've got to do it.
Well,
teach them.
We'll see.
They need to learn.
They need to learn. We need to learn. We need to get some winners. That's what we need to do. We might have a winner today. Alexander Zverev is in the final over in Rome, and he's a heavy favourite against Jarry. So obviously, by the time this will go out live, the final will be over, and hopefully, be collecting more tickets and more profit on the season so far. So fingers crossed. We've already landed the place part of the bet, but hopefully, we can get the winner over the line. This week, we have 2 tournaments in Geneva and we have over in Lyon, which aren't far from apart. 2 different countries, but only about an hour and a half drive between the 2 of them. So located very close to each other. Obviously, it's the build-up to the French Open. The French Open is the second major of the year, and it's a very, very interesting French Open that starts next week. This time next week, we will know the draw. We will be previewing the tournament on the outright and on the first round matches. So it's the build-up to that tournament, and some strategy comes into these tournaments. You think to yourself, "Oh, should I bet the favourite? Should I not bet the favourite?" We're going to come on to the strategy and what you should do. Will favourite bettors be making money this week with the French Open. But before we do that, let's have a look at the latest French Open odds. And as I say, next week is the one we're going to preview on that. But very interesting. Alcaraz is 2-1. Novak Djokovic is 3-1. Yannick Sinner 5-1. Tsitsipas is 7, a big mover from 33s. Casper Ruud 8, and Zverev is 9 now, single figures. So single figure prices for 6 players. That was something you would never expected a couple of months ago. Nadal 12-1, Rublev 20, Rune 20, Medvedev 28, Dimitrov 50, and Jarry obviously in the final against our man Zverev tonight. He's now installed as an 80-1 chance to win the French Open. It's difficult, isn't it? I mean, we'll have to wait and see the draw, because the draw is going to be crucial this next week. But
yeah, we don't know.
Interesting
playing,
to see all those single-figure prices, isn't it? Yeah, nobody have no idea who's going to play.
You are, if you're betting now, you are guessing. You know, if you're backing Sinner, is he going to play? Alcaraz, is he going to play? Djokovic is playing the Geneva Open this week, as we're about to talk about, which is absolutely unheard of. Obviously not happy with his game. So, you know, I would be looking at the bigger price the guys at the minute. If you are having a bet now, I'd be thinking of people like Jarry, people like Tabilo. What a fabulous few weeks he's had. You know, our guy Zverev was rather fortunate to beat him, to be honest. Tabilo kind of stopped doing, as they always do. He stopped doing what he was doing when the winning line came close, and he sort of ran out of legs. But what a level he's produced over the last sort of couple of weeks. So he's got to be added to your shortlist. I wouldn't be looking at any of these top 7 or 8 at the prices that they are. Certainly not at the moment for me, no.
No, and that's all to be covered next week here on Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. We'll have the French Open. We'll have shows throughout the 2-week tournament over in Paris. But it's all about this week. It's all about Geneva. It's all about Lyon. Let's start with the tournament I'm heading to on Tuesday. And I was delighted to see...
You got your umbrella?
I've got me. Yes, I have. Don't you start. I know your weather conditions, man, but I have got my umbrella. I'm going to be there on Wednesday, and hopefully Novak Djokovic. I mean, that was a big shock to see Novak Djokovic come here as a wild card. But before we go on to the draw, before we look at the matches, as you said, there's a lot of rain predicted for next week over in Switzerland. Have you looked at the weather though? There is a sort of days where it's just overcast, kind of bit not very warm, is it at all?
Well, it's warmer than Madrid by the look of it. Monday looks all right. I say all right. 9.5 millimetres of rain expected. Tuesday, 8 millimetres. Wednesday might be okay. Only 2.3 millimetres. That might be playable.
That's the day I'm at the tennis.
It might be all right. Thursday, thunderstorm, 7.4 millimetres. Friday, 5.3 millimetres. Saturday, 3.8 millimetres. So it's got thunderstorms and rain basically every day, but we've been through this before, haven't we? It's if those thunderstorms do miss the local area, then you should be fine.
My boat trip on Thursday is not looking good, is it? On the Lake Geneva.
Well, it'll still be on. It'll just be a bit soggy. It'll be fine.
Don't fancy
well, the conditions.
Would you want to go on a boat trip with thunder and lightning?
I don't know. I've done it before. Sydney Harbour on New Year's Eve, they had to cancel the fireworks because it started raining, and that was on a boat. Anyway. So Geneva, 400 metres of altitude, and when it is warm, which it doesn't look like it's going to be this week, it does play quite quick. But this year, as I've said, it doesn't look great. Last year, it wasn't great either. There was quite a bit of rain around last week, so it was slower than last year, so it was slower than usual. Only 77% holds of serve last year in a damp week. Usually, it's more like 80%. So let's assume that it's going to be pretty much similar to what it was last year. Still featured a lot of tie breaks though last year, even in the damp. And it still averages 38% tie-break matches, which is kind of roughly the same as Madrid. So the altitude, when it's quick, it is quick, but obviously it's going to be slightly dampened down. There's no real trend on the overs or unders, exactly 50% on both. Does produce quite a few underdog winners, as you would perhaps expect the week before a major. Averages 37% underdog winners. And the best round is the semi-final. 50% of the underdogs have won there. And I have a bit of a theory on that. The week before a major, generally, if a player feels like he's had enough match practice, he's kind of less than committed and he wants to get himself over to Paris. So the semi-finals is the best round. Round one's pretty good as well at 40%. So those are the conditions, but expect it to be, tempered by the weather.
Yeah, not looking good. I fancy. I always like to go to Geneva, and I thought we'd go there.
Might be all right. With these thunder showers, if it misses the specific area where you are, then you'll be all right. But it's hard to say at the minute.
I've never known a year where well, there's probably a lot more years. I've been taking a lot more notice of the weather. The weather's been, even in London, they said it was going to be overcast today. It's beautiful. Sunny day. I thought,
it's nice today, yeah.
It's beautiful, yeah. Always wrong. Hopefully they get it wrong there, but the forecast doesn't look good. Let's have a look at some previous winners here in Geneva. 2023, Jarry, the finalist over in Rome today. He was the winner. He's the defending champion, but he's not in action this week. Casper Ruud has won it a couple of times in 2022 and 2021. Zverev 2019, Fucsovic 2018, and the Swiss legend, you want Roger Federer, but Stanislav Wawrinka won it in 2017 and 2016. If we look at the draw, it's a 32-player draw. The top 4 seeds are seeded through to the last 16, and the players have to play to the right to play the 4 seeds. And if we look at the draw, the top half of the draw is that wild card, Novak Djokovic. I mean, what must he thinking here to be coming in here? We'll come on to Djokovic in a minute. He's in the top half with Griekspoor, Taylor Fritz and Jack Draper. In the bottom half, Marozsan, Shelton, Baez and Casper Ruud. Let's give you some betting. Djokovic is the favourite at plus 130. Interesting to see how he is and if he can improve on the performances he showed last week against Tabolo. Casper Ruud is in the bottom half. He's plus 250. So those two dominate the betting market. Taylor Fritz is plus 650, having a good European clay court swing. Baez is 11. Shelton is 11. Draper at 15. Griekspoor at 20. Marozsan at 22. Obviously beat Alcaraz last year in Rome. Shapovalov at 22. Kobilo at 25 to 1. Kabashbain at 30. And then Mahak 35 and Altmaier at 50 to 1. Novak Djokovic can't be happy, as you said at the top of the show, with his form. He's come here to Geneva. Great for the fans, great for the tournament. But is that, what's Novak Djokovic's thought process here, coming here?
He just wants matches. He's not had enough. He's not had enough matches, and he can't have been pleased with, the way he played in Rome against Tabolo. I know Tabolo played great, but he didn't play that great. I thought Tabolo played better actually against Zverev. Djokovic was poor. He just wasn't. I said in I think in one of the shows last week, he wasn't prepared to suffer in the rallies at all. He was just bailing out, trying to hit a winner early, or just wasn't. It wasn't a Novak Djokovic performance, was it? And all season he's been like that to some degree. So normally when he gets to the French Open to this sort of time, the Rome finals weekend, normally he's found his clay shoes and he's normally thinking, I'm in pretty good order here for the French Open. Now he isn't. Now he's not done anything in any of the clay tournaments. Didn't play Madrid. Lost in Monte Carlo to Casper Ruud. Lost obviously to Tabolo. So from his point of view, he's thinking, I'm not prepared for this French Open at the minute. So I'm going to play Geneva, see how I get on. Play 2 or 3 matches, whatever. I can't imagine he'll go all the way to the final and win it, and then have to play at the French Open a couple of days later. That doesn't sound like a particularly wise strategy, but I would assume that he's going to play, hopefully for him, like 2 or 3 matches and try and get his clay shoes on, which aren't on at the minute for him.
Yeah, if he's got to buy in the first round, and in the second round opponent could potentially be Andy Murray, who's got to play a tough opponent in Yannick Hanfmann. Though Hanfmann is going to be a big favourite for that match, but Murray, on his comeback trial as well, could play Novak Djokovic in the second round of a 250 a week before a major. Yeah. Who would have thought that? Incredible.
Nobody.
So Novak Djokovic here is the favourite. If we look at the draw, there's probably not really much sort of in a way of advantage in the top half of the bottom half. Obviously, Djokovic has put a spanner in the works in the top half, but really you've got to think about his state of mind and whether he wants to win the tournament. So where are we heading for the tournament winner here? Where do you think the best price lies or the best value lies?
I think it's the bottom half, but I'll quickly run through the trends first, very quickly.
Sure.
The number 1 seed here has only gone past the quarterfinals once in the last 5 editions. So that's a trend that Djokovic is going to have to break. And attacking players can do well here. Misha Zverev, the serve volleyer, Sasha's brother, made the final here. Peter Gojowczyk, extremely flat hitter. He also made the final here. So there's also been plenty of big price finalists, but only one winner bigger than 3 to 1 in the last 4 editions, which was Jarry last year at 20 to 1. Ironically, 3 years after I backed him at 33 to 1, and he had match points up against Zverev and lost in the final. But there you go. So those are the trends. As far as the draw's concerned, I think the bottom half is definitely where you would want to be. I mean, that first quarter, particular, with the first half in general, actually, you've got Djokovic, Murray. Hanfmann can be a danger in these conditions. Coria, Shapovalov, Griekspoor, Fritz, Draper. That's a kind of a loaded top half. If you took Casper Ruud out of the bottom half, I think you'd find this quite appealing. We don't know if Ruud's fit. He didn't seem fit when he played in Rome. Lost to Kekmanovic, had an off-court medical timeout. Not sure if he's fit. I know he's won this a couple of times, but I'm prepared to take him on. I think the 25-1 about Fabian Marozsan is the bet here.
I've actually put him down as the guy I want to bet this week as well.
I think that just because that price is too big. I know he lost to Shevchenko when they played a week or so ago, but I would expect him to turn that around. He was 1-3 favourite for that match. He's about 1.6, I think, now to get his revenge, which he should do. He's not looked great in Madrid and Rome. He was poor in both of them, but he's not going to carry on. He's not going to continue to be poor. When he did do well in Rome, it was last year when it was damp. So potentially those sort of conditions could favour him again. He's got a great record against the bigger players, the bigger names. He's not afraid to take them on, and he won't be worried about Casper Ruud. So I think 25-1 is generous. Shelton, I'm not seeing it. Watched him play in Geneva last year. He wasn't great. Hasn't been great on the clay at all this year. Caboli is another one that could potentially go well, but he's got to get past Shelton. So, as I said, if you take Ruud out, Baez loses too many matches that he should win because he's not able to serve them out with that weak serve of his. And the rest, I'm not seeing much there that is a likely a champion or finalist. So I think 25-1 is decent. I bet Rivers about Marozsan. Taking a chance.
They've actually cut him to 22s. He's currently 22-1 now, Marozsan. So
still decent.
I think he's got a great chance. And I think, obviously, as you said, what you said at the top of the show there, when you're breaking down the tournament, semi-finalists have the tendency to think, well, the underdog wins, and the potential is that it could be Ruud in the semi-final, it could be Djokovic in the semi-final, and do they really want to go and play in a final a week, or especially a week before the major as well? So I think that falls into Marozsan's hands. And if you don't really know much about this Hungarian, he's the guy who beat Carlos Alcaraz in Rome last year, produced the biggest shock of the season in 2023. Proven player, does well on clay, and I think 22-1 is a nice price as well. So we're both in agreement on Marozsan is the player to bet on in Geneva if the tournament gets completed. That is another question as well.
Well, he's not going to want to, and again, he's another one that's not going to want to bail out. I mean, a lot of these guys will want to go, won't they? Let's say it does get seriously delayed by the rain. All these guys, Djokovic, Fritz, Shelton, they're not going to want Ruud. They're not going to want to hang around for a potentially like a Monday final or whatever. They're not going to want to do that at all. So someone like a Marozsan, someone that's not used to winning titles, I think it favours them. They're the ones that are going to want this more than the big names.
Yeah, when you think about it, it's a 250 event. So the total prize money this week is €651,000, which it's an awful lot of money, but for Novak Djokovic to be there, it just shows you, really. I mean, that's just incredible that the winner here, I think, gets about 89 grand. I think the winner gets in this tournament. I think it's 86 grand. If you go out in the first round, you get $4,000, $5,000.
Yeah, this is in euros, so yeah.
So €5,000. So that's amazing that Novak Djokovic is actually playing in a tournament like this. So what do you want to do? Do you want to win the tournament here and get 60 grand, or do you want to head to the second major of the year when you're bidding to win? Big money is at stake. So yeah, Marozsan here, 22-1 is our pick. A couple of matches we want to speak about. Remember, heads across to BetRivers for the latest outright prices. The tournament actually started today. There is actually some play on the tournament here in Geneva and in Lyon as well. So there's head to the BetRivers website. You'll be able to see those future markets as well as the first round matches, and there'll be a huge amount of markets available on the first round across at the BetRivers website and the BetRivers app. Remember, if you do play on the app, you'll be able to bet live and watch live these matches on the comfort of your own home or your tablet. Two matches we're going to speak about. Denis Shapovalov up against Federico Coria. Shapovalov here, can't really understand this price. Minus 180 to beat Federico Coria. Coria is obviously the player who's much more comfortable on the clay. Shapovalov, heavy favourite, like I say, minus 180, plus 143 for Coria. The spread is 2.5, which does seem ridiculously high. Minus 2.5 for Shapovalov is minus 120, plus 2.5 for the Argentinian, minus 107. And the total was pitched at 23.5 with over minus 102, under minus 130. They've never met before. Coria is a higher ranked player at 74 in the rankings currently. Shapovalov is outside the top 100 at 126. And if you look at the clay court form for the two of them, Coria's played 34 matches this year on clay, when he's only played 35 matches in total in 2024. He's had 34 of them.
Let me guess, it almost was the Australian Open.
Yeah, and Shapovalov has played 6 matches on clay and only won 2, and yet he's minus 180 favourite to win this match. I'm not quite sure about those prices. I think for the reasons that you've decided to talk about this, we're definitely going to be in Coria camp here.
Yeah, there's no basis for this price on Shapovalov. I mean, you could argue that Geneva plays quick, and if he hits his spots, then he's going to, he could knock Coria off the court. That relies on him finding his best level and keeping his best level, which he can't do these days very often, if ever. Last 12 months on clay at main level, Coria, 52% win rate, and a service points won and return points won total of 100, and a hold and break total of 100. Shapovalov, 44% win rate, and a service points won and return points won total of 95, and a hold and break total of 94. So, miles ahead, Coria, really, on that. Let's look further back. Okay, let's say Shapovalov's old form. Last 50 matches on clay at main level. Coria, 52% win rate. Shapo, 48%. Coria, 101 total. Shapovalov, 99. Hold and break totals, again, Coria, 101 to 100. So, on short and long-term clay data, there's no basis for making Shapovalov a minus 167 favourite here?
Minus 180.
Minus 180 now. You are taking a heck of a chance if you're backing Shapovalov. You want him, if Shapovalov is going to win this match, he's going to come out, play a clean match, hit everything, hit his spots perfectly, and knock him off in 2 sets. That's the only way I can see Shapovalov doing it. But he's so up and down. The double faults are still a massive, massive problem. His point construction is no good. He just wants to blast players off the court. Sometimes it works. When he's on, it works. But on clay, particularly damp clay, which this is probably going to be, it's difficult for me to see him playing that clean a game that he's going to win that as easily as these odds suggest. Rain, you would have thought, would favour Coria, make it slower. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes 3 sets. Shapo's probably got 1 clean set in him, and then Coria will probably grind him down. 3 sets looks pretty likely, but I'll just take Coria here. What's his current price, Coria? It was about
plus 143.
Plus 143. Yeah, I mean, on the clay data, that is very good value. I'm not seeing why Shapovalov is such a short price favourite here, to be honest.
Yep. I couldn't agree more again, and we're agreeing a lot on this show, but Coria here at plus 143 does appear to me to be a price that is too big. Next match here, Ruusuvuori against Marcus Giron. Ruusuvuori is having a terrible year on clay. I think he's only won 1 match out of his 5 matches so far on clay this year.
Yeah.
Really, really poor. And if you look at the head-to-head, it doesn't look good for the Finn here. He's playing Giron, who's beaten 3 times previously, 3-0 the head-to-head, all in Giron. And they won. Last time they played was this year in Rome, where Giron won in 3 sets. Lost the first set 6-3, then he won the next 2 sets 6-3, 6-3. He also won in Toronto, and he also won in Wimbledon. The market here makes Giron a favourite, but not as strong as you would think here. Minus 103 for the American, minus 122 for Ruusuvuori. The spread is 1.5. Giron receiving 1.5 is minus 130. Minus 1.5 for Ruusuvuori is plus 102. Sorry, Ruusuvuori's favourite. 122. Yeah, Marcus Giron minus 103. And the total is 22.5 with over minus 108 and minus 118 for Giron. Why on earth is why is Ruusuvuori favourite? Is the question I need to answer here.
I don't know.
Am I missing something here?
No.
What's all that about?
I don't know. On the head-to-head career series, it's very hard to make Ruusuvuori favourite. They've met 3 times on 3 different surfaces, and Giron's won them all. Not by much. There's not much in their head-to-head on those 3 matches. Service points won and return points won totals. Ruusuvuori 99, Giron 101. So it's been very tight, but ultimately, Giron's won them all. Giron won in Rome, like last week or so. Also played well in Geneva last year. He beat Bublik easy in the first round, Giron, last year, and took the first set off Fritz. Fritz had to play well to win that day. So he's played well here. He's got experience of playing well here. Ruusuvuori, as you said, lost 4 of his 5 clay matches this swing, but he's been coming back from a back injury, so you can see why he's perhaps struggled. Clay's never been his favourite surface anyway. Same you could say about Giron. Neither of these two would prefer to play on clay. But if we look at the last 12 months on clay at main level, I've gone 10 matches for Ruusuvuori because obviously he's only played a few this season. It's still very much in favour of Giron. Ruusuvuori's got 30% win rate, a service points won and return points won total of 100, and a service hold and break total of 96. Giron, 50% win rate, a service points won and return points won total of 101, and a service hold and break total of 107. So, on the recent clay stats, there's no basis for making Ruusuvuori favourite, and on the head-to-head, there's no basis for making Ruusuvuori favourite. So, the lean here would have to be Giron. I'm always a little bit reticent when a player's won 3 matches out of 3, and they've all been quite tight. You feel like maybe the odds are it's perhaps going to go the other way this time, but you certainly couldn't back Ruusuvuori at that price. If you are betting in this match, then Giron, it has to be slight value.
I think the irrelevance here is obviously Ruusuvuori's form on clay. I mean, he's never been a clay court this season. He's having a terrible run on clay.
He's just trying to come back. He's been out most of the season, so he's just trying to find his feet again, really. So it's a bad price. If you're backing Ruusuvuori as favourite here, it's not a good price at all.
It is a bad price, and so that's not an official pick. But what the official pick is Coria.
I think there's better value on Coria. Yeah, so this one I could see being a real kind of edgy, tight 3-setter. So, but if I was betting in it, I would certainly back Giron.
Yep. So Giron is a lean at -103. I thought he was favourite, but he's not favourite. Ruusuvuori -122. But the official pick is Federico Coria, the clay court specialist, at +143 to beat Denis Shapovalov in what could be testing wet conditions in Geneva. Remember, tennis net gains daily parlay boost with BetRivers. Score more value on your tennis parlay each day with the BetRivers net gains parlay boost. Log in every day to claim your profit boost for a tennis parlay. Then make your tennis parlay of at least 3 legs. Each leg must have odds of -150 or longer. Depending on your loyalty level, you'll get a boost of at least 25% and as much as 50%. See the BetRivers app for more details and grab your parlay boost today. There is another tournament, not too far, different country, but only about an hour and a half drive from Lyon to Geneva.
Same weather.
You fly out. Same weather, terrible. And this time we go to Lyon. It's the Open Park tournament. Before we look at the runners and riders, what are the conditions like there? Is the weather's going to be bad, but is it going to be the court's conditions going to be the same?
I don't think it's looking at the weather app now because these change very often, don't they? It's certainly got thunder and rain in the forecast. Today looks okay. Monday, it's not much though. 2.6 mil Monday, 1.2 mil on Tuesday. Nothing much on Wednesday. I think Thursday and Friday look pretty thundery and with a fair bit of rain, but it doesn't look too bad. I'd say Geneva looks slightly worse, if anything. This is the last time that Lyon will be played. It's not on the tour as of next year. There's a slight bit of altitude here, 170 metres, and it has tended to play a little quicker than your sort of average clay court tournament over the years. It's kind of similar in speed to Rome, but it's going to depend on that weather, how many of these thunderstorms are going to hit. Obviously, if it starts raining, it'll be a lot slower. There's a lot of tie-break matches played at 39%, which is 1% more than Geneva. I'm not quite sure why it's quite as quick as it is. It's not much altitude, 170 metres, but it has tended to play on the quicker side. Underdog winners, 33% on average. That's kind of bang average, really, for the tour. But again, the semi-final is the best round, 45%. Same reasoning probably as Geneva. The favourites are not that motivated to go on and win this title a lot of the time once they get to the semi-finals. Over-unders, there's nothing much in it at all. It's not worth mentioning. As far as the outright trends are concerned, only Benoit Paire in 2019 and Arthur Fils last year have won this tournament at bigger odds than 7-1. So it's kind of tended to go the way of the market leaders. And only 2 of the number 1 seeds have failed to make at least the quarterfinals in the last 13 years of this tournament. So the number 1 seeds have got a pretty good record here.
Now, for previous winners, Arthur Fils won it in 2023. Actually, I tipped him last year on this show.
You did mention Arthur Fils for this tournament, didn't you?
I did. 2022 it was run by Cam Norrie. 2021 Tsitsipas. 2019 Benoit Paire. 2018 Dominik Thiem. And 2017 it was won by Joe Wilfried Tsonga. Easy for me to say. 3 of the last 6 years has been run by Frenchmen, and the number 1 seed this time around is a Frenchman, but I don't think it's going to be his conditions. Hugo Humbert, the big serving lefty, is the tournament number 1 seed. He's in the top half of the draw. He again, like the tournament over in Geneva, the top 4 seeds receive buys. And the French hopes are in the top half with Hugo Humbert and number 3 seeds Adrian Manarino. Good luck. Good luck with those 2.
I don't think Manarino is going to be troubling the scorers.
Exactly. In the bottom half of the draw, we have Serendula and Bublik. Let's have a look at that draw. Humbert in the top half will play Echeverry in the quarterfinals. If it goes the way of seedings, Mannarino will face Tiafoe, who's the number 5 seed. Monfils will play Cerundolo, another Frenchman. And Navone will play Alexander Bublik. Really, I suppose the top half of the draw is the weaker when you consider Humbert and Mannarino as the number 1 and number 3 seeds, with Cerundolo and Bublik's anybody's guess, but Cerundolo is probably the danger, and Cerundolo is the tournament favourite.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to back Cerundolo as favourite. I do rate him as I've said many times, but he's too in and out, too kind of up and down to be backing at short price. He has got a great draw. He should be winning this tournament, really. Whether he will or not is another matter. I think Q2 is the obvious place to look for value, really. Obviously, you've got Adrian Mannarino in there, who's highly unlikely to be doing anything on clay, particularly damp clay. Evans, who I'll talk about in a minute. Tiafoe looks like he's very much on a downward spiral. And Q1 looks tricky. You got Humbert, Koepfer, Nakashima, who made the semis, almost made the final here last year. Seyboth Wild, Martinez, Echeverry. That's a very, very tough Q1. I think I'll let Q1 sort itself out. The obvious one for me is to take Luciano Darderi at 11-1 each way with BetRivers. He's been in great form this year on the clay. Played well against Zverev, actually, as well the other day. Zverev had to play his best to get through that. This season on clay at main level, 70% win rate for Darderi. Service points won and return points won, total of 104. And a service hold and break total of 108. So, excellent level that he's produced this season on the clay. Does have the power to hit through damp conditions, which potentially could be a plus this week. So, for me, he's the one. I think the bottom half of the draw it's difficult to find any value, really. I mean, if Bublik fancies it and can be bothered, which it doesn't seem likely the week before.
Depends on the scheduling. Early start in the rain in Lyon, he's not going to fancy that.
It's just difficult to see him doing it, isn't it? Cerundolo should be making the final from that bottom half of the draw. Navone is the other obvious one. But I thought he was a little bit short, around 8-9-1. I didn't really feel like that was much value. So, Darderi for me, each way, 11-1. Yeah, that'll do.
11-1 will play Mannarino in round 2, and he'll be a heavy favourite to get through there. Then he plays, like Sean says, Evans or Rinderknech or Tiafoe, players that you wouldn't really want to trust. I'll give you a quick rundown on the BetRivers prices here in Lyon. Cerundolo is the favourite at 5-1. He's the number 4 seed in the bottom half of the draw. Hugo Humbert, the number 1 seed. The Frenchman is 7-1. Echeverry plus 750. Navone 8. Darderi is 11. Monfils probably the most. I think he's probably got the best chance, I would have thought, from the French side. This side, Humbert being 7-1. He's 12-1. Mouna is 12. Seyboth Wild, I thought, could do well here at 16-1, but that first quarter is very, very difficult. But if he can get through there, I think the Brazilian will do well. Muller 18, Tiafoe 18, Martinez 20, Bublik at 22-1, Nakashima at 22-1, and Lorenzo Sonego also at 22-1. Head across to the BetRivers website for all the latest outright prices on the tournament in Lyon. But our pick is Darderi at 11-1 each way. We have 2 matches we are going to discuss. Dan Evans up against Artur Rinderknech is the match that we're going to begin with. Rinderknech is minus 157. The Frenchman is minus 157 here. Dan Evans is plus 125. I mean, Dan Evans is so inconsistent, and at the moment I don't know what to make of him. The spread is 1.5. Evans receives 1.5, minus 104. Rinderknech giving up 1.5 is minus 124. The total here is high though, 23.5 with over plus 102, under minus 129. The pair have never met before. Both of them in pretty of a bad run, actually. Dan Evans has only 2 wins from 7 on the clay swing, and Rinderknech only 3 wins from 9 on the clay swings. Rinderknech has lost 4 of his last 5 matches, and Dan Evans has only got 1 win, I think, in his last 9 or 10 matches. A real bad run of form since the whole season, really. The second half of the season has been terrible. Difficult one, this one, because both of them, I couldn't trust either of them, really. But what your thoughts process going into this match?
I just feel like this is 2 players of very differing levels of motivation coming here. As you said, Evans is in a major slump. He has been all season. I'm not sure. He's either not fit or there must be something to do with physicality. He never seems fit these days. He's lost all 5 main level clay matches this clay swing. He also lost to Jerry Shang at the Bordeaux Challenger last week. And you see the level he's produced. He's 3-11 win-loss on all surfaces this season at main level. Service points won and return points won total of 96. It's nowhere near good enough. And way off his best tennis. It feels like he's at the age of 33 now. The injuries are starting to mount up. I wouldn't be at all surprised if this is his last season. He's number 67 in the world now, Dan Evans. We know he's a much better player than that, but I'm not sure his body is able to do what he wants it to do anymore, and maybe the motivation isn't there. I can't see him bettering his career high now at this age of 33 with these constant injuries. And Rinderknech has played really well at this tournament in the past. He beat Yannick Sinner here and lost to Cam Norrie in 2021. Lost in a couple of tie breaks to Holger Rune the year later, 2022. Lost 7-5 in the third to eventual semi-finalist Nakashima last year. And his service points won and return points won total at this tournament is 104, which is excellent. And he's held serve 89% of the time in the main draw of this tournament against opposition that I've just said is very, very good. It all points to a Rinderknech win for me. He's holding serve 89% of the time at this tournament against those names. He's pretty likely to cover the handicap against a fading Dan Evans. I mean, minus 1.5 games, I think the spread is with BetRivers, minus 123. That's where I'd be going here. Rinderknech to win it with a little bit to spare.
Yeah, Rinderknech minus 157 on the money line. Remember, they've got that parlay boost if you want to put him in there. Pick another couple of players as well to enhance the parlay boost. It actually might not be in I think the parlay boost got to be lower than minus 150. We'll check the terms and conditions with BetRivers. Oh, you might be okay there. We'll see what happens. You also got the next match we're going to speak about is Dominik Koepfer against Nakashima. Now, this match here looks quite difficult to call and betting. Nakashima is minus 109. Koepfer is minus 114. The spread is 1.5 again. Well, really, you can play 1.5 whichever way you want to go more. The volume and the prices are on the money line. The total games are 22.5. Neither player has played before. Head-to-head, never met each other before. But on the clay court form, it's Nakashima who's certainly showing the better. 12 wins from his 18 matches. Koepfer's only 2 wins from 7. Koepfer got beaten in the round 3. They did well last week in Rome. 2 good wins. Vavasori, TFO, his best run of the year. And as at the current prices, it's Koepfer who's being bet. We're currently with BetRivers. The prices are moving towards Koepfer here, and the opposition is for Nakashima.
Slightly surprised at that. I'm surprised that Koepfer's favourite for this, to be honest. Nakashima's been playing very well on the clay this swing. He also made the semi-finals here in Lyon last year, only lost in a final set tiebreak to Artur Fils, so conditions have certainly suited him here in the past. He'll be looking forward to coming back here. Last 12 months on clay at main level, I've taken 10 matches for Koepfer because he hasn't played enough matches. It's miles ahead, Nakashima. Koepfer's got a 30% win rate and a service points won and return points won total of 96. Nakashima, 54% win rate and a total of 103. Even if you take the service hold and break totals, it's still very much in favour of Nakashima. Koepfer, 95. Nakashima, 104. So it's far and away in favour of Nakashima. Nakashima's held serve. He holds serve 11% more often than Koepfer, and he wins the same amount of return points. So there's nothing really in the stats that I can make Koepfer the favourite. The only thing I can think of is that left-handers can sometimes be challenging for Nakashima. There is a slight dip in Nakashima's service points won and return points won totals versus left-handers, but it's not much. It's only a couple of points. That's the only thing I can find in Koepfer's favour here. He doesn't like playing on clay. We know that. It's not his favourite surface by any means. He can perform on it, but it certainly isn't a favoured surface for him. Nakashima has produced the better stats, the better form. I think Nakashima should be favourite. So if we're betting in this, which I think I have to with these statistics, this advantage that Nakashima's got and the fact that he's been made underdog, it's Nakashima for me.
I suppose people are looking at Koepfer's run to round 3 last week in Rome, thinking that was a good run. And I suppose that the other thing you've got to remember here is those who are going to bet Koepfer, the market will probably move in our favour. So I expect if you look at the BetRivers line movements here, Nakashima's definitely been very popular since the lines have been opened in the last few hours or so. So Koepfer may get a better price than minus 114, but Koepfer for Sean. And that's it. Nakashima, they're the 4 matches. Sorry, Nakashima for Sean at minus 109. Let's start again. Nakashima will be getting a bigger price, and it'll be Koepfer who is seeing some attention with BetRivers at -114. So that's it. The two tournaments, we've gone for two nice price outright picks. Marijan over in Geneva in the rain, and Darderi, hopefully I'll be singing in the rain with Marijan winning there. And Darderi over in Lyon as well. And hopefully we can come into this week with a winner here with Zverev at 9-1, who's through to the final a little bit later on in Rome. Hopefully we can cash that ticket and get those profits going up and up and up, heading into the French Open. The French Open will be covered here by myself and Sean and Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. We'll also have the women's side covered by Rory Giron and Betting Weekly WTA. You can download both podcasts on your preferred podcast provider. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Betting Weekly Studios. Huge amount of stuff on there. The Champions League final in a couple of weeks' time, the coverage will be on there. The European Conference final, the Europa League final as well. The boys will be giving you all the best bets on that. And in a few weeks' time from now, the biggest soccer tournament of the year, Euro 2024, gets underway, and we'll have extensive coverage throughout the tournament from the team on there. And also, you can give us a subscribe or sort of follow on our socials, on our Instagram account and our Twitter account at Because We Win. There's some great exclusive content there. We had a boxing guy, Christian Dawson, yesterday, nailed it on the Usyk fight. He gave Usyk to win and Usyk on points. Simon Holden has a guy in contention, Theogal in contention, one shot off the lead in the USPGA, and obviously there's content there all the time, which is exclusive away from our Twitter page. So loads of stuff. The soccer season may be coming to end, but the action is getting hotter on the tennis scene as well, and every tournament will have you covered here. Myself, Sean and Rory on Betting Weekly Game Bet Match and Betting Weekly WTA. Okay, that's been it for today. Good luck this afternoon with Zverev, Sean.
Thank you.
Good luck with your picks for next week. Hopefully good luck with me in the rain. And I suppose your afternoon now is going to take a load of 7-year-olds on at football and beat them, smash them up 15-0, something like that this afternoon.
I've already shown them. I don't need to do it again.
Yeah, no problem. Anyway, have a good day. Take care, and good luck with your wages this week.